If you collect airline trading cards, you've probably come across tally-ho cards at some point. So what exactly are tally-ho cards and where do they come from? I recently reached out to the creator of tally-ho cards to kind of get the story behind them. So these cards are not made by any particular airline. They also don't carry airline copyrights, and they intentionally avoid using airline logos. Because of that, the only airline identifier you'll usually find on the card is what appears on the aircraft itself in the photographs, sometimes on the fuselage or the tail. On the back, you'll find a wide variety of information. Aircraft specs, schematics, tail numbers, and other details. At the bottom of the card, depending on the release, you'll usually see the year, their email address, and photo credit. It also says Tally-Ho Aviation Trading Cards, along with their logo. Their logo is a fox wearing sunglasses with wings behind it. According to the dictionary, tally-ho is the phrase shouted by traditional British fox hunters when the fox is spotted. In aviation history, the phrase also has another meaning. During World War II, RAF pilots would shout tally-ho over the radio when they spotted enemy aircraft, essentially meaning enemy in sight. Tally-Ho was created by A.J. Smith. He is based in New Jersey. A.J. started taking photographs of commercial aircraft in the late 1970s. He began by shooting prints, but quickly moved into color slides. Over time, he was photographing aircraft, collecting slides, and trading them with other aviation enthusiasts. Eventually, Kodak stopped producing Kodachrome film, and the slide collecting hobby started to fade. AJ continued taking aviation photos, but switched completely to digital. AJ is also an Air Force veteran. After his military service, he became a commercial pilot. He worked for the airlines for about 8 years, starting with Piedmont Airlines in 1987 and finishing with U.S. Air in 1995. After 4 years of furlough notices and eventually being laid off, he decided it was time to change careers. Tally-Ho Aviation Cards officially began in 2024, and AJ runs it as a one-person operation. However, he had wanted to create aviation cards for many years before doing it. When the color slide collecting hobby slowed down and nearly disappeared, he realized he missed the collectible aspect of aviation photography. As many aviation fans know, collectors will save just about anything connected to airlines: Post-its, safety cards, playing cards, barf bags, even sugar packets. If it has an airline logo on it, somebody is going to want to collect it. Ironically, AJ intentionally avoids putting airline logos on his trading cards unless the logo naturally appears in the photograph of the aircraft. As a longtime aviation photographer, his biggest inspiration was postcards. Yeah, as in a postcard you put a stamp on. Over the years, many of his photos have appeared in magazines, calendars, and aviation postcards. Outside of aviation collectibles, AJ also collects traditional sports trading cards, baseball, hockey, football, and others. At the time he started this project, no one was really producing trading cards focusing on airliners. In recent years, of course, pilot trading cards have become more common with several airlines. So AJ thought it'd be pretty cool if a visitor to the cockpit was handed one of his cards by a pilot showing his photography. Of course, when other photographers' images are used on his cards, he will credit that photographer on the card. As a pilot, AJ always enjoyed using the term tally-ho. He used it to confirm that traffic was in sight. It's a phrase that stuck with him over the years. The name also has a personal connection. Tally-Ho was the call sign of RAF 609 Squadron, which was based near the small airport where AJ was born and raised in the UK. And the fox in his logo does come from the original meaning of the tally-ho phrase.
Yikes! Tally-ho! Up you go!
Interestingly enough, the runner-up name for the company was VX, which is an aviation term referring to the best angle of climb. It would have tied in nicely with aviation photography as well, as it's also a photography term. Unfortunately, VX is also the name of a deadly nerve gas, so that idea was out, and I think you made the right decision there, AJ. I also asked AJ if he planned on numbering his cards. So he told me in 2024 that he had created a set of 99 cards. They were basically designed as a learning tool for kids. The backs of these cards didn't include aircraft specifications. Instead, the goal was to provide younger collectors with information that they could learn about the airline paint schemes, tail logos, and aircraft profiles. Well, since then, the newer cards does have all the information on the back, and it is numbered to 99. You could still see those on eBay. They are available now. He also created a 100 card set. It's not numbered, but you can still find it. It's available on his Etsy or eBay store. So I had heard several pilots who had purchased Tally-Ho cards so they could hand them out to their passengers, especially when their own airline didn't have official trading cards yet. American Airlines, I'm looking at you. So I asked AJ if pilots handing them out was the original idea. He told me that originally the cards were created for collectors. However, the flight crews quickly started reaching out to purchase them in larger quantities. In some cases, pilots will contact him and ask if he can create a card for a specific aircraft or airline they fly. So according to AJ, the future of Tally-Ho aviation cards is simple. Keep it fun. If someone receives a card from a pilot, flight attendant, or gate agent, and that small moment sparks an interest in aviation, that's a success. Aviation is both a great hobby and a great industry, he says. So AJ is interested in expanding his operation to airlines outside of the US, so other international airlines he would like to make cards for as well. I think that's a great idea considering most international airlines do not make trading cards like they do here in the US. He hopes that the trading card industry for airlines will grow and that more people will actually be creating airline trading cards. Finally, I asked AJ if he'd received any negative feedback or criticisms from making cards either from collectors or the airlines themselves. Interestingly enough, he says the only criticism he ever receives is actually from my videos. He said he noticed that I was not a big fan of his cards, but he also said that it didn't bother him, that he was fine with that. In fact, that's part of the reason why he was comfortable with addressing these questions and answering these questions for us on this video. He just enjoys making cards. Honestly, I respect that. AJ puts a lot of time and effort into making these cards. Beautiful and colorful, good quality cardstock, great pictures, and a lot of information on the cards. There's a lot of work he puts into them. And on top of that, he was generous enough to answer all these questions for us. Outside of that, he says most of the feedback he gets from his customers is all positive. And you can see that. You can see these positive comments on his online stores, on his Etsy feedback, as well, of course, as eBay feedback. The popularity of these cards really does kind of speaks for itself. So Tally-Ho aviation cards are currently available on his Etsy store and his eBay store. I'll leave links to both of those down in the description of this video. Of course, there's another way people can get Tally-Ho cards, and that is directly from pilots. I've personally received several Tally-Ho cards from pilots. I actually spoke to a young guy. He was an American Airlines pilot, and he said that his wife will buy a stack of them at a time online just so that he can give them out to his passengers. So looking ahead, AJ plans to keep the same design standards in making these cards. The front of the card will remain a clean photograph with no words, logos, or borders, just the aircraft image itself. The back will continue to include aircraft specifications along with a small photo of the tail in the bottom right corner. Recently, he's also started adding QR codes that allow collectors to track specific aircraft. For a one-person operation, Tally-Ho trading cards really has established a foothold in the online aviation trading community. And it seems like there's more to come. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. Thanks. big time to AJ Smith for agreeing to answer these questions for me. I definitely have a new respect for him and his cards, and I look forward to getting more myself. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and safe travels.